Okay, guys, so carrying on what we were doing before, we did definite articles and then we moved on indefinite articles, and now we're moving to partitive articles. So there's 3 different types of articles. I just remind you that an article is something that you put in front of the noun, in front of the thing, and that's what is going to help you decide if it's masculine, feminine, plural, singular, and all that jazz. So here, partitive articles, why do we call them partitive in the first place? It's because we are talking about the part of a whole. So if you're talking about some chips within the pack of chips, if you're talking about some milk, if you're talking about some whatever, you got the meaning, right? The partitive because it's a part of something. Let's stay with that. So let's share my whiteboard because you just love this. All right. So if we look at the partitive articles, here again, we have it for the masculine, for the feminine, for the vowel. I'll just write the plural first, for the plural, and then we have it for vowels. I'll explain that after. Right, so any idea, if you think about it, how do you say the part of something in French? So if it's masculine, how would you say, let's say, for example, milk, which is masculine in French. So some milk, I'm talking about, how would you say some milk in French? Right, if you're not quite sure, if you do know, please write it in your booklet at the moment. If you are not quite sure, then listen up. So, some milk would be du. Right, so du here is, that looks a bit weird. You're probably wondering, where does that come from? Because previously we had le with a e. There's always something that is similar like that. We have un. How do they go on choosing their words, basically? Well, here is because when you're talking about the part of a whole, you are using de. Okay, so de is like the main word that we use for the part of a whole. And if you have a look at it, it actually makes sense because remember, for the definite article, we had le for masculine, la, and le. And then here, technically, it starts with de. So in the singular, we would have de, and then here de. Okay, but that's what it would look like if we look at how actually grammar works. Right, I wouldn't be explaining that to you if you were foundation, but because you're higher and you actually understand how the language works, that's why I'm explaining all that. So here, this is not the correct thing that we are going to use, okay? It is not. However, I'm explaining that to you because it just makes sense. So the reason why we have do here is because it's a contraction between de and le. And all of a sudden, it starts to make a lot of sense. So you have the article for the masculine singular that is contracted with the word that means the part of a whole. And that's how you're actually going to build your partitive article. So with de le, you would never actually use de le in French because we straight away contract it into du. Okay, so if you want to say some milk, you'd say du lait. If you want to say some, why did I throw myself in this? I don't have another example. I'll think about that. Right, then moving on to the feminine. Here again, you are going to use the word, the main word, so this one, you're going to use the main word to say it's the part of a whole. So you write de here, and then you're going to use the here you're going to use the article for the feminine singular. So you add this all together, and that makes you de la. Okay, so du for masculine, de la for feminine. And then for the plural, we'll just, well, we already have the D, E inside of here. So we're just going to take it as it is, D. Right? I'm explaining all this. It's actually quite easy. I'm just making it a lot more difficult than it sounds, just because I think you might be interested in how the language actually works. If you do have questions, though, don't hesitate to ask me in the comments below or on the Facebook group. I'm always here to answer questions. And if you do think it's confusing, just remember that the thing you need to use is du, de la, and de. Okay, actually, I'm going to clear that. There we are. And I'm going to write again feminine, masculine, sorry, feminine, plural. And you have du here, de la, and de. And that means some, and some, but for the plural. There we are. Okay. Next thing, guess what we do if the next word starts with a vowel. I'm sure you do know already, or H. Yes, you have it. We actually put an apostrophe, so you would remove whatever it is. So if it's the U, the de la here, sorry, forget about that. Forget that feminine for now. So if it's the masculine, you would remove the U and you put a D and an apostrophe. If it's the feminine, you would just put de and then the L and the apostrophe. Remember, we'll always remove the last vowel, put an apostrophe on there. And then for the de, it just stays the same. And then remember, if you have the, let's say, pineapple again, ananas, you would actually do the liaison. So you would actually pronounce the S, des ananas. Okay, you actually pronounce the S, which sounds like a Z. There we are. This is the particle, the partitive article, guys. Fantastic. Just adding to your knowledge, after a negative, what do we do? It is exactly the same that what we do for the indefinite article. So after a negative, see, you will just add de. So j'ai du lait. Remember, I have some milk. I don't know what I'm taking an example, but there we are. J'ai du lait. There we are. And if you want to say you don't have it, je n'ai pas de lait. Right, so that is the only occasion where you actually use the de, the partitive word, as such, in the negative form. So if you're in the masculine, I just remind you very quickly, you use du, feminine you use de la, plural you use de, and after a negative you will use the, and that is the only time you use it. There you are. Any question, ask below, and if you don't have any question, off you go to your little booklet. See you soon.